All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'll call the meeting of the Richmond City Council for Monday, January 12th, 2026 to order. May I have a motion on the minutes?
Moved.
Discussion. All those in favor, votes carried. May I have a motion to resolve any committee of the whole to hear delegations on items on the agenda?
Moved.
Second.
All those in favor, votes carried. I don't see anybody from the public here.
I think someone just walked in.
Thomas, we're hearing delegations now. No? Okay. May I have a motion to rise and report? All those in favor, votes carried. That brings us to the consent agenda, a very short consent agenda. We've got the committee minutes, and then we've got the annual report and work program for 2025 and 26 respectively for the Richmond Child Care Development Advisory Committee and the Richmond Accessibility Advisory Committee. May I have a motion to adopt those items by general consent? Moved and seconded. Councillor McNulty.
Yeah, thanks very much, Your Worship. I just wanted to mention the work of the Accessibility Advisory Committee and how it relates to our community. This is one of our newer committees, a great committee, just like all of our committees, providing feedback to us. And the importance and the work that they have done, and especially in recent months, helping not only us, but Coast Mountain in terms of making sure that braille signage is on bus stops, the heights of the schedules at bus stops is lowered for somebody that is only 4'11" or 5 feet, as opposed to 6'4" and has arms that go up to 8 feet and be able to read them. And the outstanding work on that. And more importantly, the fact that they embrace everything that we need to be looking at to make our community accessible, and the positive attitude with the growing community that is changing in demographics and age, and I think it's important. So I thank the staff that support this committee, but also each of the committee members, and many of them are having issues themselves. And we have, just to make a comment, 3 individuals that have sight impairment. And when you have that in the committee and the positive things that are coming out, it's really a blessing for the committee. And just a shout out for the One Ability Games that'll be coming up in May. That is another aspect of the committee, so I'm really happy to see that aspect. And I will support all the items in the child care and everything else on the agenda. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councillor Day.
Yeah, thank you very much. I just want to speak to item 7, the Richmond Child Care Development Advisory Committee 2025 annual report. And I wanted to ask staff a question. It's a great report. It goes into detail about all the services that we're providing here in the city of Richmond. And one of the reasons we're able to do that is because we put a portion of the development charges towards child care and developing new child cares in Richmond. And I understand, you can maybe help me, Ms. Dugan, we are doing well on the amount of child cares that we have in Richmond.
Through your worship to Councillor Day, Richmond continues to have a high degree of childcare coverage across our community. We have currently 38 childcare spaces per 100 children, and that's significantly higher than the municipal Vancouver average of 25.1. There is one area that we are working on, which is our provision of school-age childcare for children 5 to 12. This is predominantly before and after school. We currently have 15.6 spaces per 100 children, and so that is an area that we're focusing significant attention. We've just completed a BC Healthy Communities grant project looking at how we can rapidly expand school-age spaces and continue to work with the Richmond School District around the provision of additional school-age childcare on school grounds.
Thank you. That's what we had talked about at the previous committee. My question is, how can we direct the funds that we collect from developers to that? Is there a way we can streamline it, or is it at the discretion of the developer? Are you aware of that, or do I need to ask planning staff?
Through your worship to Councillor Day, all of the funds that are collected through the development process do go into the Childcare Development Reserve. The capital reserve is available to us for the development of future city-owned licensed childcare. That is also an area that we are looking at accessing in 2026 or beginning to plan to access in 2026, and school-age childcare is definitely a priority.
Okay, so those funds can be directed by, council and staff to make sure that it goes to the area where we're not as sufficient as we were in the other areas.
Through your worship to Councillor Day, that's correct.
All right, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. I'll call the question then on the consent agenda. All those in favor? Any opposed? That is carried. So we just have one item that is off the consent agenda. That is number 9 on the agenda, which is a response to Metro Vancouver's referral. And the committee recommends the Metro Vancouver Regional District Board be advised that the City of Richmond has no concerns on the proposed amendments to the Metro 2050 Regional Growth Strategy, and that this recommendation and the accompanying report, and then in the agenda we've got the name of the report, be provided to the Metro Vancouver Regional District Board, and I would so move.
Second.
So that's moved and seconded. Just by way of background, to get us into the discussion, this is an 18.5 acre parcel in Surrey. Right now, it's designated for agriculture in the growth strategy, and the wish by Surrey is that it be designated for various employment uses. It is now, Surrey wants to do all this by including it in the urban containment boundary. It is previously was agricultural land. It has been removed from the agricultural land reserve due to the limited agricultural viability of it. But in the Metro Vancouver world, it is outside and it cannot be used for these purposes. In respect of the agricultural land which is around it, there's provisions for buffers, for setbacks, extra setbacks as deemed appropriate. So we'll hear what the discussion is, but I will be supporting this motion. Councillor Wolf.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, in General Purposes Committee, I was opposed to what is stated here, that the City of Richmond has no concerns. I think the City of Richmond and other municipalities around in Metro Vancouver that have agricultural land should be concerned, because it puts more pressure on the remaining agricultural land to produce food for a rising population. As I mentioned at committee, I think there are options to improve, enhance agricultural land, so it could be more viable. But I also see, as the City of Surrey has already acknowledged, that this site is in their green infrastructure, kind of a component of climate action for the city. And what a significant green infrastructure it is. It is a Highland Creek, home to coho and chum salmon. It feeds the Serpentine River, which is also home to Chinook salmon. This is an example of building on floodplains when there is a policy stating that that is not to be done. This puts a speculation pressure on nearby farmland. I think Richmond should have a concern for that. We just saw the list of land assessment values in Richmond, and there's a property that just lost farm status, and now it's up to almost $12 million in value. So if you can't say that that's not going to put speculative pressure on the neighboring farmland, when you can see how much the value of agricultural land can be. So I think this sets a very dangerous precedent, and we should have comments. And so I'm opposed to the no comment item here.
Councillor Galanders.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, and I thought that Councillor Wolf has some very good discussion points just about what we need to be thinking about as sustainability for the future, how we do regional planning, what our protections are for farmland to stop industrial spread onto farmland. In this case, given that this land has already been taken out of the ALR, I draw a parallel to our own land on River Road, for example, that we had taken out of the ALR. So it is a designated farmland, but it no longer is in the agricultural land reserve. And we as a council moved forward to approve a rezoning to have truck parking on those lots. And the plan is for all of them to end up moving towards the truck parking. So for myself, since I voted in support of our own growth onto our River Road farmland, I would also vote in support of the motion to not be opposed to what Surrey is doing, because that would be kind of contrary. But I did have just one question, just I'm curious, and Mayor, you can probably answer this because you know about the Metro stuff. Why does, this is just broad, why does Metro have this urban containment requirement for Surrey? Like, do they have that for us as well?
Yeah, it's through, in the growth strategy, there's urban containment boundaries everywhere. All the cities have them, and in Richmond, they are where you would think, that kind of thing.
So back in the day, like when we wanted to make Ironwood Plaza, for example, that would have had to go through Metro?
That may have predated the concept of the urban containment boundaries.
Okay.
Councillor Day.
Yeah, I had a question of staff. Given that it was taken out of the ALC, but yet it's still in the containment area for Metro Vancouver, what is the property usable for the way it sits right now?
Through your worship to Councillor Day, I mean, this site here is, I guess, to the west, somewhat to the north and south, has urban uses, and agricultural areas are to the east. So it is, I guess, a parcel that's on the edge. It's not in the urban containment boundary. There has been a series of amendments from the City of Surrey and Township of Langley that have that we're looking at sort of some edge adjustments of land that's been taken out of the ALR, looking at potential uses, either industrial or employment. So this is one of those, I would say, smaller parcels that are looking at an urban use, but has been taken out of the ALR.
And we consider 18.5 acres a smaller parcel?
Well, through your worship to Councillor Day, no, I wouldn't call it a small parcel, but there's been a series of parcels around that size or less that the City of Surrey and the Township of Langley and Delta to a lesser degree have been looking at adjusting the land use because they've been taken out of the ALR.
And given the floodplain area that Councillor Wolf mentioned, does that mean that it's not usable for agriculture, or does it mean that, what does it mean?
Yeah, through your worship to Councillor Day, what I would say is that it is in a floodplain. And because of that, it probably is difficult to farm. There's also urban uses around it too that probably make it difficult to farm. Drainage is definitely an issue. And once again, I mean, not to speak on behalf of the City of Surrey, but I would sense that they probably look at this as because of the urban uses that are adjacent to it, that it's and that has been taken out of the ALR, that it could be, I guess, built up for urban uses, and that's what's being proposed.
So I guess I also have a problem with the Richmond has no concerns comment on this motion. I think we always have concerns about getting rid of agricultural land, even if it is difficult to farm. So I feel it's important to send a message that, you know, we try to ensure that all farmable land is saved, if at all possible. So I will be voting against the motion because I just don't want a unanimous decision. I think it's important to send a message that let's try harder. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to call the question on the motion. All those in favor? Those opposed? It's carried with Councillors Wolf and Day opposed. That brings us to the public announcements. Buried here. Just bear with me. I've got too many papers. Thank you. So, first of all, I want to make an announcement about Oval governance. Council recently reviewed the governance structure of the Richmond Olympic Oval and determined that the Oval will continue to be operated by a municipally owned corporation with its board of directors appointed by council. We are looking forward to continuing to work with the board and together implementing enhancements to strengthen accountability, transparency, community access, and operational efficiencies to ensure the continued long-term success of the Oval and its facilities, programs, and services. Next, we have Richmond's draft tourism master plan. We invite the community to help guide Richmond's tourism over the next decade by reviewing and providing feedback on the draft Richmond tourism master plan. So for the details on that, go to letstalkrichmond.ca. Then we have the proposed consolidated 5-year financial plan. Annually, we do this. The city invites residents to share comments on the proposed consolidated 5-year financial plan, which takes us out to 2030. To learn more, review the proposed plan and submit feedback, visit letstalkrichmond.ca. And please note that the deadline to submit comments is Sunday, January 18th. And finally, we have the Bowling Green Activity Center. Join us for the grand opening of the Bowling Green Community Activity Center. The celebration will include lawn bowling demonstrations and a sneak peek at some of the programs and services that will be offered in the future. So that's going to be a Saturday, January 24th from 10 a.m. to noon. For more details, go to richmond.ca/bowlinggreen. With that, we've got one bylaw for adoption. Moved and seconded. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. And we are now adjourned. Thank you.